You are probably familiar with the drill. The drill is show your work. Mike Fisher, reporting from Prescott, home of the Dallas Cowboys. I was at the Star today, kind of poking around. You'll see some of the results of our work there over the course of the next couple days. Here's the headline. Quote, dump Dak, trade Zeke, get Russ. Doodle-doo-doodle-doo. What? This concept has been presented, fish nightcap, by the way, not just in one kooky way or a kooky place, but twice. Two completely different media outlets have come up separately with versions of this idea. Fox Sports 1, it's Jason McIntyre, and then Mike Florio at Pro Football Talk. FS1's Jason McIntyre, along with Florio, say that the way the Cowboys should get Russ is to trade Zeke to Seattle. Hey, why didn't we think of that? Oh, and by the along the way, dump Dak. Just let him float into the ether. Here's McIntyre's idea. Quote, I say, Jerry Jones, pick up the phone. I say, hey, Seattle, you want our number one pick this year? You want our number two? You want our number one in 2022? I say, Zeke, 2 number ones and a number 2, and I bring in Russ. Florio's idea. The first step would be allowing Dak to leave as a free agent. Then the Cowboys would have to conjure up a reverse Herschel Walker package. Would Seattle want offensive linemen? Would they want Ezekiel Elliott? Whereas Jason McIntyre is going hard here. I mean, Jason McIntyre is imagining that he's Jerry on the phone. Florio is, frankly, a little craftier. He's saying, oh, I wonder would they want Zeke in a trade for... He doesn't come out and say it. He just comes out and does this to his chin, like I'm doing. Is the idea unrealistic? Obviously. Is the idea stupid? Let's play Show Your Work, one of my favorite games. This is something, if we were, all of us who were in 3rd grade and did 3rd grade math, sometimes we would use our own brains and our fingers or whatever to come up with the answer, the times table answer or the algebraic answer or whatever. And then the teacher would look and say, oh, I see on your paper you did get the right answer, little fish, but I don't see how you did the calculations. Meaning you didn't do it the way she's trying to teach. You weren't learning algebra. You were just doing something on your fingers. Show your work, she would write on the paper. Well, that's what I'm saying here to these guys. I'm not dismissing it all as stupid yet. And if you have ideas along these lines, I'm not dismissing them as stupid. I'm saying, little Jim, little Ernie, little Sally, show your work. Let's do this in 10 exploratory steps. Step 1, if Seattle trades Russell Wilson for Ezekiel Elliott, who plays quarterback for Seattle? Why are they closing the door on contention and playing without a quarterback? Exploratory step number 2. Seattle will have to stay very, very, very mad at Wilson, as Seattle management presently is, by the way, I can tell you, in order to decide that it's fine with eating $39 million worth of dead money. That's an inescapable cap fact in the event of any trade away of Russ. And I say this with respect. I bet you Fox Sports 1 doesn't know that. And I guess Pro Football Talk forgot it. $39 million that you got to swallow here. in Seattle to say goodbye to Russ, no matter what. Item 3, and I say this with no disrespect to Ezekiel Elliott, why does Seattle want a $15 million running back again? Item 4, if Dallas trades Ezekiel Elliott, Dallas has to eat dead money. $15 million to not have Ezekiel Elliott on their team. That's just not cap smart. In terms of asset management, I'm not saying you can't do it. I guess I'm not even saying that somebody won't do it. Somebody could say, we're so dissatisfied with this player, we'd rather get penalized $39 million over here and $15 million over here and exchange problems. Doesn't make any sense. That doesn't mean it couldn't be done. Just to understand the ramifications. Item 5, but what if it's a post-June 1 trade? Everybody brings up post-June 1 like it's like it's a magic balm. A balm. It's not. It just means the money gets split over 2 years instead of 1 year. You still pay the money. You still pay the cap. It's still dead. For the sake of this zany proposal, by the way, just do it after June 1st doesn't work. Why? What about all those first-round picks I was getting this year? The first and the second. If we do it post-June 1, isn't the draft in April? Oh, well, I don't get any picks. I get picks later? The Herschel-like package needs to help Dallas now. That would be the point of it. Speaking of the Herschel-like package, and Pro Football Talk uses that phrase a lot when it comes up with these fantasy blockbuster celebrity trades, which, by the way, they're not wrong on all of them. They weren't wrong on Deshaun Watson. There's one. People with little understanding of the true mechanics of the 1989 Herschel Walker trade throw this around as an example of what could be done again. When they talk about these blockbusters, well, just do a Herschel Walker kind of deal. People that say that don't understand what the Herschel Walker deal was. And maybe we should do this someday and sit down and detail it. And it would be a reminder for some of you who are of a certain age. The Cowboys got, just a quick overview. The Cowboys got a bunch of players and a bunch of picks and more picks that were conjoined to the players. And Jimmy and Jerry tricked the Vikings. The Vikings thought, well, you're going to love having Jesse Solomon there. You'd never cut him. But Jimmy and Jerry wrote in the thing, but if we ever do cut him, if we do cut Jesse Solomon, we get another pick. Well, guess what? Jesse Solomon played here for a very brief time. They weren't going anywhere. They cut him and got another pick. I believe they did it with Darren Nelson. Got rid of him. Got another pick. There's not going to be another Herschel. There is no another Herschel Walker deal. No deal will ever be constructed like that again in the rest of NFL history, ever. So the people that say that are naive. They don't understand what that trade was. They just think it was a big trade. Item 7, the idea that Russell Wilson is worth 5 premium pieces, because this proposal is 2 first-rounders, a second-rounder, Zeke, and then the dumping of Dak. That's 5 pieces that the Cowboys have to say goodbye to do this. Simply does not jibe with Dallas's position on the value of Prescott. That Prescott is one good piece, and you would trade, you would dump him along with 4 other good pieces to bring in a good or great piece in Russell Wilson does not compute to them. They're not going to trade 5 pieces of gold for 1 piece of gold. They're just not. Item 8. it's odd that some of these same trade inventors who suddenly see Dak as only worth dumping have, in previous remarks, talked about how the Cowboys could get massive value back in a trade. Go look it up. Some of these same guys that are saying, I just dumped Dak, have in previous segments on TV said they should trade Dak for 3 firsts. Which is it? He's worth 3 firsts? Or I just dump him. Which is it? Does it depend what day it is? Do you remember the segment you even did yesterday? In which you said the opposite thing? In any event, how did Prescott, let's dump Dak, and I'm going to do a separate visit on this. I'll try to do it with you here soon. How did Dak suddenly become worthless? He's the most valuable player on the team. He's the most valuable commodity on the team. And now you're just dumping him for nothing? Item 9. McIntyre does not seem to have a particular vision for Prescott's future. That's Fox Sports 1's McIntyre. Florio, though, does have a particular vision. He says the Cowboys should simply let Dak go because, after all, they're going to get a compensatory pick, Mike says. I don't think he understands that such a pick would come, number one, in 2022, too late to help this year's team, and 2, would be at best a 3rd-round pick. That's the maximum you can get as a compensatory pick. You really want to give up Dak Prescott for a 3rd-round pick? That's your plan? Why would Dallas trade its arguably best player, but absolutely most valuable player, and absolutely most valuable commodity for a 3rd-round pick? It's ridiculous. Item 10, as we have suggested before, the real answers here come in Occam's razor form. They're simple answers, much simpler than all this convoluted conjecture. The simple answers in Dallas are all about Dak and the Cowboys beating the March 9 deadline so they don't have to use the franchise tag. But if we get to that date with no resolution, the tag will be used. They will not dump Dak. They will tag Dak. Those simple answers in Seattle are about unruffling the feathers of the GM and the coach and the quarterback. Or we can do it Pro Football Talk's way. With the Cowboys, Florio writes, a 3-team deal could be needed. Wait a minute. We're going to make it more convoluted? Come on. A 3-team deal could be needed to get the Seahawks their quarterback, with the Cowboys sending part of the overall package to a team that would then ship a quarterback to the Seahawks. Sure. Just do a Herschel Walker type trade, get nothing for Dak, and do a 3-team deal. Well, sure, let's just do it the easy way. Fish out.